Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of the Iron Life Podcast. I am your host, Chris Tutela, here to help you live the Iron Life. And I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in each week, listening to me spit that fire on the mic. And I really hope that this show is impacting you. Every time we look at the stats, the show is growing. We're getting bigger, which means we're reaching and impacting more people. And that is especially thanks to you, because there is no show without you. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen, taking the time to share the show. And if you haven't shared an episode with anyone, take a look back at your favorite episode, one that maybe had the most impact on you. And if you could send it to a friend, a coworker, a family member, maybe it'll be this episode. I don't know. This show is for anybody who is looking to transform their lives, their business, their fitness, anybody who is looking to grow, to get better in some capacity, whether it be their health, whether it be achieving more fulfillment or success in their lives, growing their gym business. This show is all for you guys. So if you know somebody else that is like you, somebody who this show could impact, it would truly mean the world to me if you could just share this show. So thank you in advance for that. I really appreciate it, and I really do. I'm not just sitting here saying I appreciate it because it's the thing to do. I really genuinely appreciate you guys because, again, you give me the opportunity to do what I do. So thank you. Let me get all the emotional shit out of the way first. Now, with that being said, guys, we're going to shift gears a little bit today. And what I want to talk to you about is how to dominate your path in business and in life. And a lot of this stuff, when I talk about it, if I'm being honest, it's like where my own insecurities come out, because I'm like, why does anybody want to listen to me about how to dominate their path in business and in life? And I don't know, maybe, and I can't tell you because listen, I'm not the guy that's the multimillionaire. I'm not the guy that has built, 12 seven-figure businesses, or I'm not fucking as smart as some of these other guys out there. I'm not Elon Musk. But what I have done in my life is I've overcome a pretty decent amount of shit. Being raised with drug addiction in my family, facing the adversity that causes, facing my own fears and insecurities, growing up, not really being confident in my own ability or who I am. Then dealing with, the loss and the struggle that I had to deal with with my father. And my dad passed away in 2020. And then just 15 months later, I lost my brother to a drug addiction, or to a drug overdose rather. And listen, like, there's been a lot of hurdles and obstacles that I had to overcome in my life, against all odds. A lot of people, even my own family members, were counting me out. And I've been able to accomplish a fair amount, I think, in the fitness industry. I've been able to build a training facility that is really in the top 10% or so of gyms in the world as far as revenue goes and profit, and I'll say quality of training as well. And so I spent a lot in order to do that. I had to get around the right people. I've invested a lot of my money to learn from mentors and high performers. At this point, hundreds of thousands of dollars, in the beginning, especially money I was investing that I didn't have to get around these people, getting around these multimillionaires, getting around these people who have, these multiple seven-figure businesses, like my mentor, Bedros Keuilian. So in this sector, what I will say is like, hey, I have been able to overcome a lot in my life. I have been able to make a bit of a dent. I have been able to get to this point further than really anybody expected me to. I barely graduated high school. I did not go to college, and I've been able to achieve more in my life than some people who have. And I've been able to overcome a lot more in my life that some people, you know, maybe they got stuck along the way and they haven't been able to overcome it yet. But that's what this show is about, right? I'm not sitting up here talking to you like I am the end all be all. I'm talking to you as a fucking human being, as a person who's been through some shit. I learned some shit along the way, and my goal is to share with you, the listeners, who may be struggling with similar shit, who may be wanting to transform their business, their fitness, their mindset, their relationships. And what I want to do today is share with you some of these things that have really helped me make these changes and overcome the shit that I have in my life. So with that being said, you know, I put together a little list here of the biggest things that have really helped me. And maybe you could take 1, 2, 3, maybe all of these things and apply them to your life and see how they help you. So let's get to it, shall we? So first and foremost, how to dominate your path in life or business is first you need to have a clear vision. A clear vision of the life that you want. Now, you hear Arnold talking about this all the time, right? If you ever listen to, you know, one of his famous speech on YouTube or his rules of life, you know, he always talks about the importance of having a clear vision and knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you want your day, your life to look like. You know, I also think about one of my friends and mentors, Craig Ballantyne, who helped me with this in his perfect day formula. And basically what that is just mapping out what you feel that your perfect day would be, right? The time that you wake up, the people that you're with, where are you living, what do you do for work, how many hours do you work per day, how do you spend your evenings, how do you spend your afternoons, like full detail. And also, you know, being very specific as far as like, what is the date? What is the month? What are you celebrating in your life? But getting very, very clear on what this looks like so we could start to actually put this out and start to apply some of the things so you could actually begin to work towards that perfect day, work towards that vision, knowing what you want, how much money will you be making. Like, you want to get very, very clear on that, okay? And once you're clear on it, it's like now reverse engineering. What is the plan? What do we need to do in order to achieve that outcome in life? What is the work that needs to be done? Who are the people that you need to meet in order to achieve that vision, that outcome, so you could live the life that you actually want to live? In my opinion, guys, not enough people write this stuff down. A lot of people just kind of consume information, listen to things, watch podcasts, watch YouTube videos, maybe read, but never put these things into action. The first thing that you need to do when creating your vision, or if you want to achieve any goal in life, is to write that shit down, make it real, bring it into the universe. It doesn't matter what your fucking goal is. Like, when you're creating your vision for your life, by the way, I think that all these different buckets of fulfillment and life should be included or incorporated into this vision. So, you know, talk about who's your family, right? Like, do you have kids? Do you not have kids? Do you have a spouse? Are you single? Like, that needs to be addressed. Your fitness, like, what do you want that to look like? What do you want your body fat percentage to be? What do you want your health to look like overall? What do you do as far as like hobbies and fun? Who's with you celebrating the event that we talked about earlier? All of these things need to be considered so you could start to, again, apply or work towards those big things because it's not life, as you know, it's not just about money. It's not just about getting fit. It's not just about, the hobbies that you do. It's not about just these things in isolation. It's a combination of these things to give you the most rewarding and fulfilling life. So put those things on paper, get really clear on what you want that vision to be. Then the next thing is, if you're going to dominate your path, you need to add structure to your day. I think that most people are reactive, and they react to text messages. They react to emails. They wake up late because they pressed the snooze button. They go to bed late because they were binge watching Netflix. So that leads to them hitting the snooze button. They're putting out fires all day, whether it be with their work or with their family or shit that occurs. And because of that, we end up doing all this reactive shit. If you want to be successful in anything, then we need to be more proactive and less reactive. And by the way, less reactive emotionally too. Like, get a handle on your shit. Go to therapy. Talk to people. Make sure you're getting your workouts in. Spend more time outside so you could spend less time on screens. Stop scrolling through social media. These are things that you're doing reactively. You're doing them habitually. And that is leading to anxiety, stress, overwhelm, unhappiness, comparison syndrome. We're always comparing ourselves to others, and our nation is depressed. Our nation is anxious. Our nation is fearful. And there's a simple solution to a lot of it, not all of it, but to a lot of it. Get off your fucking phone. Add structure to your day. If you're going to respond to text messages, do that at a certain during a certain time frame. Don't answer random calls that aren't your family or close friends. Like, don't do things that are not structured. The more structure that you have, listen, it requires discipline to create structure in your life. So discipline is like the first fucking answer. But using discipline to then create that structure, and then using discipline to stick to the structure that you're creating, that's how you start to get ahead. So just these little things, they make such a big difference. And I know they certainly have for me. It's been one of the biggest game changers for me, is structuring not only my day, but my week and my month, knowing exactly what's going on. And then also, hey, on a business and personally, you know what? I'll share this. So like at the beginning of the year, I take out, and I am fucking old school. I still use I buy one of those calendars, from Walgreens, or I order off Amazon, and I like to write my shit down. That's just how I work. It's how I operate. I don't like to use Google Calendar or anything like that. I know I'm a little bit behind, but that's just how I do. And so I will look at the month and I'll say, all right, business wise, this month we're doing this campaign. This month we're doing this promotion. This month is when we're doing this workshop. This month is when we're doing this event, right? And I make sure that I have that all written out ahead of time, and late December before the new year hits. Then I'll also look at personal things like, all right, vacations. Okay, I want to put a vacation here. I want to put a vacation here. All right, I'll make sure I take this weekend trip on this month. So all that stuff is already pre-planned. Now, sometimes there's curveballs. Like, to be honest, Gab didn't expect to get pregnant as quickly as she did. Thank God she did. It's great. But that did change things up. So I guess the point there is, if you need to, you can always change things, but plan it ahead of time and book your trips in advance. Book everything in advance. So this way, and you also have, like for us, for vacations, it gives us something to look forward to. So now throughout the year, it's like, all right, we're doing this coming up. So it's like, it's not just about work and the grind, so to speak, like all these influencers will tell you about. It's about the fun. It's about the freedom. It's about the things that you are going to do as well, these moments and experiences in life. So structure your year, your month, your week, and your day. So as we go through that, right? So if we're looking at my week, I know that work-wise, I know that the majority of my meetings are done on Mondays. On Tuesdays, I know that that's when we're doing our Iron Business Blueprint work. That's our business coaching program. Joe DeFranco and I, we have a business coaching program for gym owners that want to scale their gyms to multiple six figures. I know that on Wednesdays, that's another, it's a quick meeting day, but that's where I do the majority of, consultations, strategy meetings, things of that nature. Thursdays, it's my podcast day. So we're doing a lot of recording on Thursdays. Fridays, it's more of a leisure day after 2:00. So I get the majority of my work done, and then 2:00, I'm done with work. And then the weekends, I want to enjoy with my family. So, this stuff it's all structured. It's all pre-planned. It's all out there. And then comes the big thing, guys. Okay. And also my workouts, all that shit is planned. So right now I'm only training twice a week. So I do full body on Monday and I do full body on Thursday. That's just for right now. I did pick up jiu-jitsu a little bit more. So I have Tuesday jiu-jitsu, Friday jiu-jitsu, Saturday jiu-jitsu. Wednesday and Sunday are my zone 2 cardio days for 30 to 45 minutes. My walks are spread out, as fasted walks in the morning. And then we always do a family walk in the evening with CJ. So all this shit is planned out. Okay. But here's the big thing, because you can have all the structure and all the planning that you want. The next thing is that you honor your fucking commitments. If you say you're going to go train, make sure that you go train. If you're going to do a family walk, make sure you do a family walk. If you say, hey, I'm done with work, it's a hard stop at 5:00, it's family time after 5 p.m., make sure you honor that. So you're present for your family, for your friends, for whoever it is that you're with. But make sure you honor that. For me, when I'm done with work, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered. My phone I leave it inside, or I just keep it in my pocket. And I do one last check over before I put my phone on airplane mode. So 8:30 p.m., my phone goes on airplane mode. So I make sure, if I'm going to call my mom I do it all before then. If I have to check social for anything, if I have to respond to any text messages, I usually do that by 7 or 7:30 after we're done with our walk and with dinner. And then after that, phone goes on airplane mode. And now it's family time. It's chill time. It's, get CJ's bedtime routine going. But you need to honor that stuff. If you do not use discipline to stick to the plan, then you're going to be fucked. Now, not every day is perfect. There are things that come up. There may be, like a few weeks ago, I did a presentation at Kane University for their exercise science students. That was the class was 7 to 9 p.m. So I didn't have my normal routine. That's okay, guys. I know some of you get kind of caught up, and anytime I'm coaching people on how to do this stuff, a lot of times people get so caught up in that side of it, like, oh, but it has to be perfect every day. It's like most of the time it's going to be dialed in. There's going to be random times where you may want to do something spontaneous, or maybe an opportunity comes up, and that's fucking fine. Don't overthink this shit. But you need to put this stuff down, structure it, and then honor those commitments. Okay? Next. This is a really important one, and kind of how I started the show today. Have self-awareness and be brutally honest with yourself. You need to be aware of your strengths. You need to be aware of your weaknesses. Be aware of your flaws. We're human beings. Nobody's fucking perfect. I sure as hell am not perfect. I have fucked up a lot. I've made bad decisions. I've had, I think, I don't know if I shared this on a show or it was an Instagram post a while back, but it took me a while to adapt to having a son. I guess like any new father, any new parent. But for me, I was so caught up in work that not that I wasn't present, but I was more distracted than I should have been. And because of that, I think I left too much responsibility with for CJ on Gab, especially in the beginning. And I had to get called on it. I had to recognize it. I had to be honest with myself and then realize the adjustments that I had to make. So, and then I made those adjustments. There's days that are better than others. Most days are great now, but there's some days where I still get caught up in the mix. And I have to catch myself and I have to be aware of it. So I guess that's the thing for you guys. Pay close attention to yourself, to your habits, to your behaviors. Be aware, be honest with yourself. You can't lie to yourself, right? I see this all the time in fitness now, right? You may get somebody that is really overweight and they're really unhappy and they want to make changes, but they just don't have it, whether it be the willpower, the discipline, the structure, the habits, the right people around them, the right decisions. For whatever it is, they're stuck. They can't get through it. So what happens is then they start to tell this story and start to lie to themselves that they're happy with the way they are. But for years, they've been unhappy and depressed and anxious and worried. And we have cardiovascular issues and we have gut health issues and we have autoimmune issues. And they're not happy with that. And they say they're not happy with it. But then they start to lie to themselves to say that they are. And then they get stuck there forever. And sometimes they pass away, unfortunately, prematurely. And we're seeing that more and more these days with people settling for less because they're lying. They're accepting. They're just accepting their current state as a reality. Guys, I'm here to fucking tell you that wherever you are at, and I am fucking living proof of this, that wherever you are at in your life, you have control. You are in the driver's seat. You have the pen. The circumstances that you've been through or that you are currently facing, they do not dictate the outcome. You do. It doesn't matter the mistakes that you've made. You fucked up in the past. If you don't learn from it, if you don't grow from it, or if you don't learn from it, you won't grow from it. You need to put in the work to overcome. And that's hard. And that's challenging. So if you got 100 pounds to lose, that ain't going to be easy. You're going to have to change a lot about your life, about your habits, about your behaviors. And if you really want to get that off, and you really want to make these changes and become a person that you are proud of, then it's going to take a lot of hard fucking work. And that's uncomfortable, right? And a lot of people aren't going to tell you that. They're going to say, oh, it's your genes. And yeah, that has something to do with it. But that's not all that it takes. Because regardless of your genetics, if you put in the work, you will change. Mentally, spiritually, physically, things will change. Your whole biology changes. Okay, so you need to be honest with yourself. And in order to do that, that kind of brings me to the next point. You need to have the right people who are going to be honest with you. You know, if you don't have the right support in your corner and you just have yes men or you just have energy vampires and negative people, then you're not going to overcome. You're not going to be able to be honest with yourself because you have those people in your corner and say, no, you're perfect just the way you are. Bullshit. We all have flaws. None of us are perfect. Stop fucking lying. Tell me the truth. Tell me where I suck so I could get better. When I go to jiu-jitsu, I want them to say, listen, you're doing this wrong and you keep doing this wrong. You have a bad habit here. Here's how you fix this so you could get better. Oh, okay, gotcha. And I want to work on that. And I'll fuck it up and I'll make mistakes. And they'll say, no, do this instead of this. And okay, got it. And eventually you get a little bit better. But that's because I had the right coaching. I had the right support. I had the right training partners. It's the same thing in your life. It's the same thing in your business. Having those outside eyes of people that are going to be real with you, that are going to be honest. They're not just going to sit around and fucking, wipe your ass and feed you fluff. You need the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes you need to be told that you suck in a loving way. If I tell you that you suck, I'm going to tell you that you suck in the most loving way possible because I want to show you how to overcome it. It's okay to suck. You're going to suck a little bit. You're not going to be perfect everywhere. So having those right people in your corner, for me, I think growing up, like I told you, addiction in my family, and my parents fighting all the time, my dad cheating on my mom, and all the fights, and the as a little kid, the fear of divorce and all the crazy shit that would be said in my house, like just chaos. And I think having good friends, man, like I am so grateful for my childhood friends, people that I grew up with, my boy Josh and Joe and Nick and Kenny and Elliot and all these guys, right? All these guys that I have had in my corner through all these years and hard times, telling me how it is and being honest with me, especially my buddy Nick. I gotta get Nick on the show at some point. I think I've talked about him before, but like he's been through some shit in his life, and I think because of that, he matured much faster than the rest of us. And at a young age, he had some shit in his life. I'm not going to share that on the show, but like he's been through stuff, and he was able to kind of be the voice of reason for me in the early days. And I always say to him, like, if it weren't for him, I don't know where I would have been. I don't know where I would be now, because he really helped me with a lot of these big decisions and choices that I've made throughout my life, because I looked up to him. Even though we were the same age, I looked up to him. He was like my mentor early on. And, I was fortunate enough to have my cousin Johnny Al, who's been on the show multiple times. And then as I got older, I started paying and investing for mentors. Like I said, from Joe DeFranco, Jay Ferrugia, Luca Hosafar, Bedros Koulian, Craig Ballantyne, Ryan Obernesser. I've hired and worked with coaches, consultants, and people that could help me, give me those outside eyes, be brutally honest with me, and help me change my life and change my business. And because of that, my business has grown. I have grown as a person. I've been able to do things that I would have never thought possible. Making a certain amount of money now that I never thought would be possible. But, and even my life, like the freedom that I have in my life, the joy that I have in my life, the ability to impact people, work with great people, have a great team that I get to coach and guide. Like, one of my favorite things to do now, one of my favorite fucking things is when I have really good, hungry, young coaches that want to learn, that want to do well in this industry, that want to make an impact, and to be able to train and coach them now, like my role has shifted a little bit as far as TTS goes. Like, I'm not on the floor all the time. I have a lot of business owner responsibilities to do, and one of them being to make sure that my coaches are performing at the highest level. So now, as my role has evolved, getting to give back to the industry and to my business and to train my coaches and to teach them how to do this shit right, to teach them about training and nutrition and, everything that goes into this stuff, psychology, and to see them like really absorb it and love it and, like apply it, like that for me fires me the fuck up. It's like one of the reasons why I get up so excited, because I know that is now going to make a bigger impact on all of you guys that are listening, all of our members, right? Like that's going to help be one of the biggest difference makers. So it's, that's really a big part of it. I don't know how the fuck I got down that rabbit hole, but anyway, having the right people around you guys, if you don't have great friends, if you don't have the family or the support group, go out and find them, make an investment in yourself. It'll be the best fucking money you've ever spent. I guarantee that. So find those people. Next on the list, if you're going to dominate your path in your business and your life, then you need emotional resilience. Shit is going to happen personally. Shit is going to happen professionally. Nobody gets out of this life unscathed. There's shit that's always going to go down. Life isn't perfect. Life isn't fair. And every once in a while, there's going to be a fire. There's going to be a bomb that explodes in your business or in your life or in your relationships. You might be going through a divorce. Your girlfriend cheats on you. Your dog dies. A family member dies. A family member gets sick. A friend dies. These things happen, unfortunately, and it is part of life. And I think it comes down to being self-aware, but also just being aware enough to know that life ain't all sunshine and rainbows, as Rocky Balboa will say. There is going to be tough times. There's going to be hard days, but life, there's ebbs and flows to life. There's seasons to life. There's seasons where you're going to be winning in business. Then there's going to be seasons where you're getting your friggin' dick kicked every single day. And you're like, what the fuck? How do I get through this? Why did this happen? Why am I here? And you need to be emotionally resilient and be able to think practically and be able to think logically, not emotionally. Because if you make emotional decisions, well, then you're probably going to make the wrong decision. You need to be able to be practical and keep you're a human being. We're going to get angry. We're going to get sad, but we got to be able to control that beast. Okay? Because if you don't control it, it's going to control you and it's going to control your life. I believe that those emotions are a test. Look at it as a test. And if you're going to pass the fucking test, you need to get those emotions under control. Think about it. Somebody cuts you off. Are you like, oh, motherfucker, how the fuck you doing? I used to do that. My fucking Italian Jersey temper. But I realized how big of a fucking idiot I looked like and what I was doing was so silly. Like, what's the point? You know, like you're getting so bent out of shape because this guy forgot to fucking put his blinker on. Like, it's stupid, right? So it's the same thing in every area. If you're emotionally reacting and reactive in your relationships, then you're probably not going to have the best relationship. You're probably not going to be the best business owner or boss or partner and anything. So you need to be emotionally resilient. So get yourself, and that comes back to being self-aware, right? Like, get yourself in check. You know, when my brother died, the hardest time of my life, you know, the hardest period, you know, for me, it was, like not only did I have this loss, right, of my dad 15 months prior, then my brother, which, you know, losing my brother was the fucking hardest thing I've ever dealt with in my entire life, being honest here. And I'm sure you could understand why. But part of it was knowing how broken my mother was, or how empty she felt, or how much this affected her. So it was like my sadness for my mother was one of the hardest things for me to accept, because I knew how heartbroken she was. And I knew now she just lost her husband and now her son. And it was like, you know, there was this pressure that I felt on me. There was this sadness. There was this from all these different angles. I was getting it, right? And at the end of the day, even though this was going on, guys, I still had a fucking business to run. I still had a business to move forward. And luckily, I did what it took to build a team, because I needed my time to grieve. I needed my time to be with my family. You know, I remember it was 10 days straight where I fucking cried hysterically like I was a child, you know, and it was every single day, multiple times per day for 10 days. And then, you know, since when my brother passed away, he was in Florida. So by the time, you know, they shipped his body over and we did everything and had the service, it was about 10 days. So there's a big gap. He was cremated, and, you know, all that happened prior to the wake. And so there was a large gap. And I remember specifically, it was like the day of his wake is where I just felt like that was the closure I needed. Now it's time to get back to work. It was like, I don't know what happened. It was like after that day, I didn't really cry anymore. Of course, I was still sad. Of course, I was still in a little bit of shock, and I needed some time. But it was like, as soon as that day happened, I was given the closure that I needed. And maybe that was the support of my friends. Maybe it was the support of my family. Maybe it was just realizing, like, okay, like, it was acceptance. You know, grief takes time. Grief happens in stages. And so maybe that's just what I needed. But I just know that after that, I got the closure, and I was able to then refocus, dust myself off, and say, okay, I'm still fucking here. I'm still fucking breathing. My heart is still beating, and I got work to do. I have people who depend on me, my family, my team of employees, my clients, my members, You guys that are listening to the show, there's people that have faith in me. There's people that believe in me, and there's people that need me. At least I like to tell myself that. So that purpose was the thing that got me through it. Having something to focus on, having something outside of myself, which was you guys. And so that's what I'm trying to get at as far as the emotional resilience piece, is oftentimes we're so focused on ourselves and we're so focused on us internally. That's where a lot of that anxiety and stress is coming from, because we're trying to fix these fucking things within us, and we're only focused on those. So we're only focused on the negative. Taking the time to focus on others, to give back in any way that you could be volunteering, anything. But focusing on something outside of yourself is one of the best ways, in my opinion, to develop that emotional resilience. And also, back to what I said earlier, just being self-aware. So hopefully that helps. And the final piece here, of how to dominate your path in business and in life, you need to have a relentless pursuit of personal excellence. In order to build something, there needs to be a bigger driver. There needs to be something, again, that you're focused on. And to focus on ourselves, right? Not to contradict what I just said, okay? But I think you guys get it. There's a blend here. For me, it's always been this pursuit of becoming great. And that means being a great coach, being a great mentor, being a great leader, being a great entrepreneur, great father, great spouse, just great in these different areas of my life. And maybe I haven't achieved those things yet, but I am on the pursuit of improving. Tony Robbins said, if we could define happiness in one word, it would be progress. And what I believe is the pursuit of excellence in different areas in your business, and for me, jiu-jitsu and hobbies, like just trying to be great, just trying to pursue excellence, be the best father that I could be the best business owner that I could be. That means I'm constantly going to be learning. I read books on this stuff. I travel. I go to events and seminars and hire mentors, because I want to be great in these different areas of my life that mean a lot to me. And that is where I am most fulfilled. That is when I am most happy, when I am learning, when I am growing, when I'm evolving as a person. And if you're going to dominate, you can't just expect to be stagnant and dominate. They just don't go together. If you're going to dominate, you need to keep growing, keep getting better. Go through the hard days, go through the tough days, go through the happy moments, go through the sad moments. Face the deaths that you're going to face in life, and the illnesses and the sicknesses, and you keep going so you could fucking overcome and achieve the greatness that you have the potential to achieve in your fucking life, because you do have more potential than you give yourself credit for. We all do. So keep fucking grinding, keep working, keep chipping away, keep fucking going, because eventually you will get there. The ones that don't get there are the ones that quit. And usually they quit when they're right on the cusp. Keep fucking pushing through. Get around the right people. Get yourself in check. Structure your day. Have a vision. You too will overcome. So stay on the pursuit, the relentless pursuit of personal excellence. Your business will never outgrow you as a person. Think about that. Your business or your career, whatever it is, it will never outgrow your level of personal development. Okay? You need to start doing things that are going to challenge you, people that are going to challenge you, people that are going to lift you up. Like, these are the things that matter, guys. I promise you, they will change your fucking life. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. As always, I appreciate the fuck out of every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I think that's all I got, guys. Keep crushing it. Keep moving forward. And I will catch you next week on another episode of the Iron Life Podcast. Peace.